Hi guys, it's Gareth on Pew Pew Pew. Welcome to week 2 of season 8 of the GPC. Sorry for this being late. I was called up to work yesterday on upload day, which is when I intended to put this all together, but sadly, obviously I couldn't. So I do apologise for this being late. Welcome to week 2, where we faced off against Johnny, admin, one of the members who's been here for a while. He's a very good player, extremely good battler. Definitely one of the playoff contenders, if not a title contender for this season. So it is quite a big game for us, and just one quick look at the matchup will tell you one thing and one thing only. It's not going to be easy. I have literally nothing for HYDREIGON. One thing you'll notice just based on the team builder alone is I do not have Mega Sizzle, and HYDREIGON is the main reason for that, mainly because I need to find some ways to even remotely attempt to deal with it, and obviously with it getting easy fire coverage for days, Mega Scissor isn't going to be the best option for it. So yeah, HYDREIGON, regardless of what I even try to do, is just going to be a massive problem. Add on to that the fact that he has a Mew, which nothing really on my team can break down outside of Mega Scissor. Even then it can burn me. Things like Dhelmise of course can do a lot of damage, but once again can be burned. Main bet for it is the Thunderous Therian with the coverage that it gets. But yeah, Mew's a big problem. Mega Gallade, possibly a threat, not too big a threat with the fact that I have Necrozma as well as Suicune. Both of them can sort of handle it. It's one of the few weeks where I don't expect him to bring it. Keldeo is a massive threat. I need to keep Dhelmise around for that. That's the main thing it's there for. Keldeo and Talonflame have the same sort of thing where if their checks die in Rotom, Heat and Dhelmise respectively, if they die, I'm done for. I have nothing for Roserade either. Not much on my team can safely come in on it and kill it back, outside of maybe Necrozma, but as you'll see by the set, it won't. Escavalier I don't see him bringing, and if he does, it's not going to be that big a problem. Stunfisk is probably going to come. It deals pretty well with... can take hits from a Bombi. It's his best check for Thunderous Therian, which otherwise would be quite a threat to his team. So I definitely expect to see that. Aerodactyl and Hitmonlee both can come, but they're very afraid of Mega Scizor and don't really deal well with it, so I don't see them coming. And Marini he can bring, but once again, with Thunderous Therian being a threat, I don't see him bringing it. So the 6 that I'm expecting are Mew, Keldeo, HYDREIGON, Roserade, Talonflame, Stunfisk, and Insert. So whatever he decides to bring, did I say HYDREIGON? Yeah, I definitely said HYDREIGON, didn't I? Mew, Keldeo, HYDREIGON, Roserade, Stunfisk, Insert, probably Talonflame. I can't remember what exactly I said, but those are the 6 that I'm expecting. Bearing in mind the prep that I did for this week was rather rushed. It was solely based on a decision that I made to get the battle done earlier. I could have definitely taken my time, planned this out, and done everything necessary. I just rushed it just because I felt like getting the battle done sooner. I was hyped for it, so that's entirely on me, and I'm not using it as an excuse. It's just as a pretext for what some of the decisions I've made were done. That was definitely a sentence. Yeah, going over the team, first thing, the biggest threat to his team by far is Thunderous Therian. Like, outside of Stunfisk, he has no electric switch-ins outside of HYDREIGON as well. So those two are definitely going to come as sort of pseudo checks to this. In hindsight, I was speaking with Johnny about this. HP Ice was definitely the play of a Dark Pulse. I needed Double Dance because if I do get both up, then it's GG. But yeah, I needed HP Ice to have a Dark Pulse just so I could hit the HYDREIGON. That was a missight on my behalf once again, something I could have maybe done if I had a bit more time. But this is good because his main checks to it in Stunfisk and HYDREIGON can't KO it straight back unless HYDREIGON's Life Orb, I believe, or maybe even Modest I think might have killed, I can't remember. But Stunfisk definitely can't kill me straight back, which is good. His potential of the checks could be a Scarf Arrow or something like that, but I don't really expect to see it. This speed, I believe, was to outspeed Scarf Keldeo, I believe, at +2, something like that. It might have been Scarf Arrow, actually. I might have crept Scarf Arrow, I'm not sure. It was definitely one of his faster mons being scarfed. That's mainly why it's there. It's just a massive threat, as you'd expect from Thunderous Therian. Then we have Necrozma, the boy. Basically our check to Mega Gallade. He's not going to bring it for the fact that it's there, but if he does bring it and I don't have this, then it's going to be very hard for me to deal with, so I kind of have to bring it. Thunderwave is good against his team because he has a lot of things that are very fast and that this can start doing damage to. Cold Berry again was for the Mega Gallade and can sort of help with the HYDREIGON as well. The fact that I don't have Toxic or any way to wear down HYDREIGON is a bit of an issue, but Photon Geyser is just general good coverage against this team with things like Keldeo, Roserade, and Hitmonlee, so I didn't need that over, say, a Brick Break or something like that, potentially, to take care of the HYDREIGON. Stealth Rock and Moonlight are just there because I need, obviously, longevity, and Stealth Rock is useful. Now, here's our Keldeo check. Simple as. I ran Assault Vest because, if I remember right, Specs Icy Wind otherwise could be a 2-hit KO if I wasn't fully Spadef and I needed attack investment for. I'm trying to remember. Oh, it was for the Mew on Shadow Claw. That's right. Yeah, the premise of this is it's a Keldeo switch. I don't really have too many of them on this team, so it's useful to have. Power Whip and Shadow Claw are very good against this team in general, outside of, once again, for the HYDREIGON, which is why Gyro Ball is there. It does do quite a bit of damage. If he's a faster variant, it can do up to half, so it can be somewhat of a HYDREIGON deal though. Rapid Spin, obviously, because it's a spinner. Then we have the Annoyance for his team. This is mainly to check Talonflame. This specific defense was to guaranteed live +2 Natural Gift. Natural Gift Rock from Adamant Talonflame, or not get to it KO by it, sort of thing. You get, you know what I mean, just deliver +2 that, because I can see him bringing it as a way to check this, because this is my obvious switch into Talonflame. But the whole reason why I'm sub-split is because things like the Mew, things like the HYDREIGON can come in safely on this. And if I can get up behind a sub and wear them down just with the residual, it can be quite useful. In hindsight, maybe Toxic over Will-O-Wisp could have been more useful for that kind of in that regard. But what can you do? Will-O-Wisp is useful again for things like Mega Gallade, so there was definitely value to that. And then we have Ribombee. Quiver doesn't really do too much this game, as he has things like the Escavalier, which just completely wall it, and Talonflame, which if he is Gale Wings, can just switch in if this is you know, completely revenge it. So I didn't feel like that was necessary, and with Sticky Webs and Thunderous T, it was a better option for me. But Moonblast is good against his team, which is why I'm running the Pixie Play. HP Fire once again for the Escavalier, and U-turn just to get out of there. I didn't really need any other moves. This was, yeah, just mainly to get the webs up to allow Thunder T to do some more damage. And then we have Suicune. I needed to bring a defensive one this week, mainly to stop Keldeo to an extent, because obviously Secret Sword hits on the physical side. And it also deals decently well with things like Escavalier and Talonflame and Aerodactyl and Hitmonlee and Mega Gallade if you brought them. I needed longevity, I needed this to stay alive, so that's why I brought Rest Stalk, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to run. I was torn between Scald and Calm Mind. Calm Mind and Raw. I was tempted for Ice Beam as well for the HYDREIGON, but I thought in the end Calm Mind could be useful, as I could set up a Calm Mind on a potential HYDREIGON switch and just stall it out, depending on his set. So that was the goal behind this. Whether or not it works, obviously, is extremely dependent on what he brings. A simple taunt can shut this down. And I needed longevity. That was the main thing with this. I'm not too sure what the exact spread was for Ribombee and this. I think Ribombee was to outspeed, I'm trying to think of what it could have been, Keldeo perhaps, or even Mega Gallade. It was definitely Mega Gallade because it's 350, and I'm guessing if I switch that down, yeah, it was definitely for the Mega Gallade. Again, if he did bring it, I don't see him bringing max speed, but you know, better safe than sorry. And for Suicune, if I remember right, it was to take a Jolly Life Orb, Draco Meteor, and then take the second one after the drop. That was that's why I had the Spadef investment, and the rest was obviously in defense, as that was the main thing for me to take. So we'll just move on to the battle now. As you can see, these are the teams that were brought in the end. You obviously know mine, but he brought basically what I expected: Mew, the Roserade, HYDREIGON, Talonflame, Stunfisk, and Keldeo. Roughly what I expected. I can't remember exactly what I said before, but I think that's what I specifically mentioned. HYDREIGON just does a number to my team, so let's just try our best and not let that happen, and to wear down the rest of its stuff, either with the Roads and Mow or whatever hazards I can get up. So hopping into the battle now, I lead with the Ribombee as a potential way to scout Scarf on this, but also pressure with webs, as I do switch out here, fearing the Scarf, because if he stays in and goes for the Steel move, it's confirmed. He does switch out, which tells me he's not Scarf. I didn't expect him to be, but it's, you know, never too bad to stay safe. As he goes out into Rose Raid, this is not a good time for Suicune, so I go straight out into my Delmise. Probably my best answer to this, and it allows me to get rid of spikes, should he go for it. As he does just go for the spikes, he reveals HP Fire, and this is where he realises I'm AV or Spadef, and Shadow Claw does over half to this. He's got one or two plays, either synthesis, I have so much trouble with that word, either heals up or switches out. I think either way my play is to go for the Rapid Spin. If I remember right, that's what I do. No, I switch out to my Rotom Heat, expecting him to go Talonflame on my Rapid Spin, as he goes HYDREIGON instead. Here I tried to set up a sub, I believe, or Pain Split, expecting a Draco Meteor, as I could guaranteed live it, but he does reveal the Taunt, and that's a massive problem, because everything I have to deal with HYDREIGON is based around either status or wearing it down slowly, so that's less than ideal. At this point, I only had one real switch into Ribombee, mainly because he was either going to click Dark Pulse or the Dragon move. Nothing can safely switch in on either of those except for Ribombee. I know he's going to be backing fire coverage, so I can't do this all the time. This was just a one-turn thing so I can sort of pressure him out. I believe I click U-turn this turn, unless I'm dumb. No, I click Sticky Web. I forgot. So Sticky Webs are now up, which can be quite important, but he does have removal in this potentially, and even the Mew, so they might not be there to stay. But having the webs up is extremely useful for the Thunderous. My blanket switch into this is always the Rotom, as he sets up the SD. Not a threat unless he's got the natural gift, and him switching out kind of illustrates that point. Goes out into his Stunfisk. I can't do anything to this. Again, this is where Toxic would have been more useful. So I can just go straight out into my Delmise. I went straight into Delmise expecting the rocks or the Toxic. So I go straight out into this as he goes HYDREIGON, predicting that. Good play on his behalf, as now he just pressured my whole team, and even with the AV, I just drop. So that's the first kill going to HYDREIGON, who'd have thought. Here I go out into my Ribombee. It's my play every time he goes into that, and I just click U-turn. Obvious play. It's just a way for me to keep momentum. As now that his Rose Raid's in, this is probably my best chance to set up. I decided to go for the nasty plot. Maybe should have gone for the. This was mainly because Dark Pulse wasn't guaranteed kill if he was Spadef. As he reveals a Sludge Bomb does about half, I can't set up the agility on this because of that damage, and so I just kill it off with the Dark Pulse. This is where having HP Ice would have come in handy, because I could have killed it straight out. But he goes Talonflame. Once again, I can't take Flare Blitz from this. He is 100% his play to click it. As he goes for the SD, if I'd have agility there, that would have been spicy. But sadly, I just didn't have the cojones for it, as me going on to Rotom was the obvious play, but it was definitely the play to make. I believe I clicked sub on this turn. No, I discharge again, playing it obvious, playing it safe. As here I click sub, I know he's going to set up his rocks, so it's a safe way for me to deal with this. There's nothing he can do to me at all, unless he's running Scald. I go for the Willow, just burning it, just seeing what he wants to do. As he goes for Stone Edge, revealing that he does have it, but because of the burn, I really don't care about it. So that's his move to deal with Thunderous, I guess. But now that I'm safely behind his sub, I can just stay here all day. I click Pain Split, get a little bit of health back from this HYDREIGON. This actually does reveal, because of the fact that I gained HP, reveal that he's somewhat HP invested, and the fact that he's leftovers kind of confirms it. The taunt is unfortunate, of course, but I did predict it and go for the discharge, hoping for a paralysis, which I do not get. 30%. You know, can't complain. As he goes for the Dark Pulse, I go for the discharge again, but for the paralysis, I'm just going to keep failing to say that word. I don't get the paralysis again, unfortunate, but it's not too big a deal. As then he gets the Dark Pulse flinch, which is a low % chance, I'm just saying. I'm not salty. You know, it's bound to happen, but like, come on now, let's not dawdle on it. Discharge again, doesn't paralyze. First Dark Pulse flinched, I didn't paralyze once. I see you. Yeah, again, doesn't really matter too much. Paralyzing this would be useful for things like the Ribombee, or even things that just like taking hits. But the simple fact that the flinch didn't matter is what I'm trying to say. I'm more upset about not getting a paralysis. I got into this mainly because I needed to switch something in to bait taunt and then to get Ribombee in safely. As I do that, as he does go for the taunt, and here I just have to click Moonblast. It's just a way of me to guarantee damage on something. as I do believe he goes Talonflame. Oh no, he goes Mew, and I just go for the Moonblast and get off about 40%. One thing that does reveal is that he's not Spadef. It reveals that he's somewhat HP invested. He's a bit speedy as well, or you know, whatever investment that he's got. But he's not Spadef, which is good knowledge, which means that Thundurus Therian can pressure it with Dark Pulse. The thing is, I don't want to switch Thundurus T in because that means I can't switch in again on rocks, and with his Hydreigon being healthy, I can't kill it anyway. So I need to keep Thundurus T in for the late game. And so my play is 100% to go into this because he can't Toxic me, he can't Will-O-Wisp me, yeah, he can defog away all this as he does go for the Will-O-Wisp predicting switch. I'm not too sure, but I just get my rocks up, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Here I go for the T-Wave. It's useful to slow this thing down and to stop it from spamming its moves. He gets full power this first turn, which, if anything, is a bad thing for me because I have literally no idea what this thing wants to do. I got into my Rotom Heat, just because I can take any one hit from this, as he reveals the Carmine, and this is where things get a little bit scary. I have nothing to break this. If you look at the rest of my team, all 4 of them are special attackers, and only one of them can hit this thing super effectively. So my plan is 100% just to wear this thing down and to PP stall it with Rotom. I will skip forward a lot of turns as we just play this game. Oh, I went a bit too far. We play this game until he gets to +4/+4, and we're both just wasting moves at this point. I'm just hoping that he eventually switches out or something happens that's not this, as he does switch out into Hydreigon, which is nice. I do miss the Will-O-Wisp, obviously, because it's, you know, not 100% accurate. He taunts me on this turn as I go for the Discharge, I believe, once again trying to get the para. Still not going to get the para, and I believe the same thing happens on the next turn as he breaks this. Oh no, he goes into Mew, that's right, I forgot about that. A lot of the turns where Mew's in, he gets paralysed, which is, if anything, just unfortunate for me because I can't PB stall it as effectively. But really, it didn't really matter. This is where I decide I'm done with this. I just go straight out into Thundurus to try and get a big hit off on this. His play is 100% to hit me here. I just need to get damage off. I went for the Dark Pulse hoping for the flinch because Electrium Z wouldn't kill. Paraflinch didn't get through. That was the one time I needed him to be paralysed, and I didn't get it, so it's unfortunate. Not really too upset about that. Once again, I was going for the hacks, didn't get it, so it's not that big an issue. But yeah, I could have really done with him paralysed up flinch there. That the Electrium Z didn't kill unless it was a crit. He gets paralysed here, which is unfortunate. I think, is this a turn where I know something happens soon and I don't want to spoil what it is. But yeah, this is, I think we just stall a bit more. Oh, here I get a crit. Andy gets parried. Oh no, Andy went for the attack. So he's now in range with my next discharge. That was the bit of hacks that sort of balanced this out and meant that oh no, he lives on a roll. If you look at the discharge damage before, 17.4%, you can't see it on the side, but I'm looking at it now. It's basically, I just did an extremely low roll, which allowed him to live, and he gets full powered. So that's the crit was unfortunate, I will agree with that, but the fact that I got a low roll and he got paralysed sort of balances itself out. So yeah, the crit was unfortunate, but it's bound to happen when you've got a boosting mon like that. Once again, this just drops to discharge. He could have preserved differential and gone out into HYDREIGON, but risking the power wasn't worth it, as he does go into it now, and I just lose. I mean, this could have happened from minute 1, but I go out into my Suicune. I want to preserve this so that I can potentially get a pain split off on something like the Stunfisk or what have you. This thing is useless to me anymore. With the taunt on this, it's just absolutely useless, and the fact that it's worn down, it's gone. He goes to the taunt here, not too sure why. I do go for the Scald, just trying to get damage off. This is going to die, so it doesn't matter. I guess because he's not fully speed invested, he could have been worried that I was max speed and rested up or something, I don't know. But he just roosts up. This is where he revealed the final move to be roost, and it just confirms that this game I have nothing for this, as I drop to the poison from the Toxic Spikes. I believe Rebombi did as well, so that's 2 kills for Roserade on passive damage. I'm obviously running the Colbur Berry. He knows that I can't do anything to him. I did go for the T-Wave there. just the fact that I only have Photon Geyser and this thing has Taunt is just killing me. So he does go for the Dark Pulse, he does destroy my Cold Barberry, I do go for the Photon Geyser, it's my only move, so yeah, this thing will die once again to the Toxic Spikes. That's 3 kills to Roserade on toxic damage. Rotomeat comes in, this just finishes me off with the Dark Pulse. Once again, HYDREIGON did a number to my team. That was predicted from the offset. He brought a very good set against me, or against the specific prep that I bought to deal with it. In wearing it down with status or setup. That was the plan for me, and he brought Taunt, which completely shut down everything that I had to sort of deal with it. There was not really much I could have done once the Stealth Rocks had gone up. Losing Dalmise early was quite an issue. But yeah, most of the hacks that happened was relatively meaningless. Like me not getting the Power Flinch on Mew and then the Mew being paralysed later and all that, it balances itself out pretty evenly. It was going to be a 4 or 5-0 to him anyway, just simply based on the fact that his HYDREIGON would have it just completely deals with my team. I think this is one of the few times where I will say that one mon completely just dealt with my team. A lot of the times you can have one mon that's threatening or one mon that can pressure, but that was a complete shutdown. And once again, it's partly due to the way that he played and the way that he prepped. And yeah, there's not really much you can do when somebody who's good at the game, good at building, has a way to sort of, you know, completely shut you down. And my phone's ringing now, so I'll see you all in the next one. I can't remember who I'm playing. I think it's Ballistic, so I'll see you then.